Streaming. Good morning, everyone, on this summer day, sunny summer day. I think we may get through this one without raining. That sounds good. It's going to be warm. Try your best to stay cool, drink lots of fluids, to not get dehydrated. Be mindful that if you're not used to this kind of heat, then, kind of take it easy today, take it light today. So today we're starting writing block part one. And for those who are with me through science, I just want to let you know, please watch that little 2-minute video. It's going to help you a lot when we dig into this science. It's going to be rough. So today we're going to just we're just going to review our writing of the complex compound sentence. And okay, so you don't want to act right. So what I want to do first is show you two types of um, conjunctions that we use to join words, and this is review, but I feel like sometimes we need to talk about things. Are you kidding me? Let's try. Okay, these things are not wanting to cooperate today. Let's see how we end up. We have a new, we're on a new Windows upgrade, and we had a lot of problems um, with some things. So let's start with our coordinating conjunctions, and that's nice and big. They give equal importance to the words or sentences that they connect, conjunctions. And we call them, again, we use the acronym fanboys. An acronym is a word that is made up to stand for other things. And that's an easy way to remember it. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So we use those, and then we also use, and you want to act stanky, that's fine. I don't care. Use the fan. We're going to use this again to show you how this all comes together. Let me make it bigger. A compound complex sentence gives us a dependent clause plus one or more independent clauses. So a dependent clause is not a complete thought, and you have to have a period after it. Before they went on vacation, okay, this leaves you hanging for the rest of the thought. So you know this is a dependent clause. Maria found a dog sitter. Okay, that's a complete thought. I could actually put a period there and have that be a sentence. And we just have our coordinating conjunction of and, which is a part of fanboys. Max bought plane tickets. This as well could be a complete thought ending in a period. Max, what did he do? Bought tickets. So this is what makes it a compound complex sentence, because we have one dependent variable with at least two independent variables. We use this as a way to combine related action and not have a run-on sentence. This is the proper way it should be written. So now that I know this is working, let's look at our subordinating conjunctions. And I'm going to use a photo editor again because I don't know why it's deciding not to work today. But these are our subordinating conjunctions that would be generally at the beginning of an independent clause. Um, I'm sorry, the beginning of a dependent clause. Um, while we were inside, Mom bought a couple of cheap umbrellas because she thought it was going to rain. Okay, so that's, you'll have words like while, is soon, when, whenever, before. If you look at all of these words that will be used to compare ideas, to give you a frame of reference of time, Well, even though I'm giving you that, it's called a concession. Relative pronouns, who, whoever, whom, rather than I, she, right? So we're speaking in general. And then a reason, because, in order to, since, and then a condition, if, only if, unless, provided that. So something has to happen in order for something else to take place. And then we get where, a place, where, wherever. Relative adjectives, that, whichever, which one of you, which one is your favorite, okay? And then a manner of how something happens, as though, as if. So let's see how those all work together. Let's take a look at, and this part was review. So let's take a look at what we're going to work on today. And we're going to put all of this together to make compound complex sentences. Okay, so let's open this with Google Docs, and that way we can write on it. Okay, so let's come over here. And the directions say to combine the sentences to make one compound complex sentence. So we know that we must have a dependent variable and two independent variables. So let's take a look at how we can combine that sentence to do that. So you've got two sentences here, and we're going to combine that into one. All righty. Susan teaches the kids in the neighborhood. She teaches the kids who live in the neighborhood. When does she teach them? In the evenings. And when? After she comes home from work. All right, so this is what Susan does. I'm going to bold this to differentiate it from the other one. So, Susan teaches the kids. That can stand alone. So I'm going to highlight it in orange. Who live in the neighborhood. Wait a minute. She teaches the kids who live in the neighborhood. I'm sorry, y'all, forgive me. And she teaches the kids who live in the neighborhood. So that could all be one thought. That is our independent. Susan teaches the kids who live in the neighborhood. So in the evenings, what is this? That is dependent, because in the evenings, what? So that is our dependent variable. Wait a minute, she teaches the kids. Okay, in the evening, okay. In the evenings is dependent, and then after she comes home from work. So after she comes home from work, okay, there we go. Uh-oh, what just happened here? She teaches the kids that live in the neighborhood after she comes home from work. She teaches the kids who live in the neighborhood. So after she comes home from work is dependent. Let's make that red. And then she teaches the kids who live in the neighborhood after she comes home from work. And then we need another independent. So how are we doing this? Let's take this off. Susan teaches the kids that live in the neighborhood. So we know that that's independent. Make it red. Actually, I don't like that. After she comes home from work. Before she leaves work. After she comes home from work. What? She teaches the kids that live in the neighborhood. Let's see. Susan teaches the kids that live in the neighborhood. In the evenings. Teaches the kids that live in the neighborhood in the evenings. That's one sentence. In the evenings after she comes home from work, Susan teaches the kids that live in the evening. Well, that to me is dependent, right? In the evenings after she comes home from work, we're sitting there saying, okay, yes, what happens then? Susan teaches the kids. So I'm having a problem with that one, y'all. Let's take a look at the next one. The doctor wants to prescribe physical therapy and he asked me to see a specialist. He recommended Dr. Smith. So if we look at this sentence right here, the doctor wants to prescribe physical therapy and he asked me to see a specialist. We already know that we have a compound sentence, right? Because here's our dependent and there's our independent. But we've got to combine all three. So let's take a look here. But, well, basically, I'm not going to make a lot of changes to this one. This would be my sentence. The doctor to prescribe physical therapy and asked me to see well, we already know Dr. Smith is a specialist because he said he recommended him after asking me to see a specialist. So he wants to prescribe physical therapy and he wants me to see Dr. Smith whom he recommended. So the doctor wants to prescribe physical therapy. There is our independent. That could be a sentence all by itself. He wants me to see Dr. Smith. That's another independent. That could stand by itself. So we're going to put that in red as well. Got this? Now, whom he recommended. Whom he recommended. That can't stand alone, can it? So that is our independent. I'm sorry, our dependent rather. Notice we have the word and, which is part of our fanboys. Notice, and a coordinating conjunction, it coordinates the two. And then we have whom, which is a subordinating conjunction. Okay. So put that back so you can see what we've done here. Now this one makes sense. In the evenings, after she comes home from work. Susan teaches the kids who live in the neighborhood. So what this looks like to me is we actually have two independent. I'm not feeling that first sentence. Let's go on to the next one and we're going to stop. And I want you to give this a try. Anthony told us about the assembly of the products. One sentence. Unfortunately, he didn't tell us about where they were made. So we want to turn that into a compound complex. He told us about the assembly of the products, but he didn't tell us where they were made. So we actually are going to have a compound sentence, and I'm going to tell you why. Anthony told us about the assembly of the products, but he didn't tell us where they were made. Okay, so that is not a compound complex. That's simply a independent, complex sentence. Let's put it all together. Told us about the assembly of the products. He told us about the assembly of the products. He told us about, I'm going to turn this into a compound complex. He told us about what the product would look like when it was complete, but he did not tell us where they were made. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got here. He told us about the assembly of the products. Anthony told us about the assembly of the products. That can stand alone. That's independent, right? I'm going to make you red. He told us about what the product would look like when it was completed. That's another independent. While omitting where they were made. There we go. While omitting where they were made. So while omitting where they were made is not a thought, complete thought. That is dependent. So there we go. And so that's it. That's all of that. I would like for you to try to finish these on your own. So what you want to remember is you're going to have two independent variables, thoughts that can stand on their own, with one dependent, and use the coordinating conjunctions and also the subordinating conjunctions. So I've done 3 of them. You can go back into the prior lesson. I'd like you to give it a shot. That's all we have for now. And if this is a little much, start all the way back at the beginning in the prior lessons about simple sentences and work your way up. So you would start with simple, complex, compound, and compound complex. And we're going to move on. And so hopefully I will see you in writing part 2. Thank you. Take care.